Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav again. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. In a recent interview to the PTI, explaining and defending his grand announcement of a minimum guaranteed income for the poor called NYAY, which is expected to become the mainstay of the poll manifesto of the Congress party, its president, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, while defending this scheme, said that it had a twofold objective. The first objective, he said, was to provide a minimum income to 20% of the poorest families in the country, the bottom 20%. And the second, he said, was to remonetize an economy which he said has been recklessly demonetized by Mr. Narendra Modi. He proposes to remonetize the economy by putting this kind of an income in the hands of the poor to the tune of 3,60,000 crores a year per annum, and that, he said, would help to remonetize the Indian economy. He said that the name has been deliberately given as NYAY because it stands for justice, because he says that in the last 5 years, all that Mr. Modi has done is to take away from the poor and give them back nothing. And through this scheme called NYAY, he says the Congress party will give back to the poor. The fact is that demonetization was a draconian, harsh measure due to which the Indian economy suffered a huge setback. Our economic growth took a brutal beating and went down on an average by at least 2 to 3 percentage points, and growth tumbled. The worst hit were not the large enterprises, but the small and medium enterprises and the informal sector. And these very enterprises, which are huge job generators, took the worst beating, resulting in closure of many. A lot of them closed down, some of them were crippled for life, and the employers, which is the owners of these enterprises, as well as their employees, lost their livelihood in millions. The impact was so severe that because of demonetization and cash suddenly going out of the system, their volumes of business suffered, their business cash flow suffered, they couldn't survive, or they downsized big time. That growth momentum, which had been generated in the pre-demonetization time, when India was hitting growth rates of 8% per annum, has yet to come back. That momentum we never got back. That magic in our economy, which was looking upward, never came back. And that is because of the irreparable damage done to lakhs of MSME enterprises and enterprises in the small sector, which not only provide about 40% to the GDP of India, but are also a huge job generator. The impact of demonetization could not be diluted, even though the government tried to remonetize the economy at a very fast pace. Immediately after demonetization, when the high value currency notes were cancelled, the government tried to pump in cash in the economy at a fast and furious pace. But the damage had been done to these enterprises. Their businesses never came back. That kind of economic growth got sacrificed for all time to come. The unfortunate part is that demonetization, despite being such a brutal, draconian, harsh measure, also did not achieve the objectives for which it was announced. And what were those objectives? Those objectives were an assault on black money generation. The second was to counter counterfeit notes, which they said had become a huge menace. And the third was to battle terrorism, which they said was being funded because of these kind of high value currency notes of 2,000 rupees and 500 rupees. It seemed to have achieved no purpose. While the promised 5 lakh rupees that the government said would never come back into the system, the government had made a statement that out of the 15.5 lakh currency in circulation, 15.5 lakh crore currency in circulation at the time of demonetization, the government had said that about 5 lakh crores will never come back into the system, which they said was the biggest dividend that would happen of demonetization, because that meant cancellation of black money to that extent. That statement never saw the light of the day. All the cash came back into the system almost. So black money did not have any impact because of demonetization. Whatever impact has had on the generation of black money in the recent years has been because of a lot of other collateral measures and legislation that the government implemented, not really because of demonetization. As far as counterfeit currency is concerned, the Reserve Bank itself is on record saying that out of 15.5 lakh crores of currency at the time of demonetization, hardly 400 crores was counterfeit currency, and that did not justify such a draconian measure by any reckoning. As far as terrorism is concerned, it continues. So demonetization did not really achieve its objectives, and it continued to linger on thanks to the immediate unprepared onset of the GST for quite some time to come. In fact, with the immediate unprepared, hurried implementation of the GST, the impact of demonetization lingered on for a more longer period, only adding to the pain, especially of the MSME sector. The government recognized this pain, and it was in November 2018 that Prime Minister Modi announced a slew of relief measures for the MSME sector, including that famous 59-minute loan and various other measures. But it has not really had much of an impact. This sector has suffered irrevocably. The point to note is that since demonetization in November 2016, at the moment we've got a record level of currency in circulation. The currency in circulation in demonetization, which was 15.5 lakh crores, today has touched about 21 lakh crores. So much more remonetization has already taken place, and it has failed to reduce any adverse impact that took place of demonetization at that point of time. India has pumped in enough currency, and no further remonetization is warranted, especially because it's not going to be able to solve any of the ills that demonetization got into picture. As we said, the adverse effect of demonetization has been irreversible and irreparable. At such a time, when Mr. Rahul Gandhi makes a statement that he would get in remonetization, obviously to mitigate the impact of demonetization, that is an irrelevant and meaningless statement according to us. Remonetization is not what is now needed to revive and restore the growth of the economy and to speed up its trajectory in growth. That is not what is needed. The government has tried to remonetize the economy in huge numbers, and nothing has really come out of it. What is needed from the Congress by way of a poll manifesto is actually a very accurate and credible strategy to revive the economy, an economic strategy for further reforms, so as to ensure that these adversities that came into the economy because of demonetization are now undone by speeding up growth. And that is the solution. Remonetization that has been announced by Mr. Rahul Gandhi as a poll promise to us is just another jumla. It is only meant to mislead the public, because remonetization as well as demonetization at this moment of time are history. Nothing is going to help as far as remonetization is concerned in the manner he has promised in his interview to the PTI. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.